Yo, what is up, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Hey, in front of us we have the all Predacon combiner, and depending on the sequence of the videos that I release, you may have seen the alt mode for this already. And honestly, it's not that frequent that I prefer the alt mode over the bot mode, but in the case of this Predacon Fossilizer combiner, I think I prefer the alt mode. Yeah, and look, he has this cool little tail over here, huh? Cool, cool, cool. It's the vertebrate tail. I think I prefer the alt mode actually. And if you've seen it, maybe you agree with me. And if you haven't seen it, then how can you agree with me, right? Or disagree with me? But yeah, I think he's really, really cool. He looks kind of similar to some builds that I've done in the past, very specifically like a rack and 2 paleo builds. But the only difference is we have obviously the vertebrate in place. But, you know, adding her, kind of made me do a couple of things a little bit differently. And yeah. And normally I know I would go over a tutorial, but today I am not because, no, I'm just kidding. Of course I am. Yeah, of course I am. Right. Especially for these videos that are requested. This was also requested by King of Salt Games, I believe. King of Salt Games. I was wondering, is your name King Assault or like Salty because like you lost games or something like that? I don't know. But I'm going to break them down bit by bit. And also, I don't think I'm going to put them back together once I break them apart. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. So in case I don't, take a good look at him. Take a good look at him. Inhale, inhale. Okay, so I'm going to break him right now. So let's start with the arm. And so this arm right now is blurry because I don't have autofocus. But let me just do that. There we go. Over here, we have the ractinide tail, right? The covering, the hip covering, so to speak. And that is plugged into the vertebrae as the forearm. I think that's really neat. And by the way, this cone, if you don't want it here, this spear, if you don't want to hear it, you can make it like a cone head for ractinide and just pop it on his head and kind of makes him look like a wizard, so to speak. What I did here, I really like what I did here. I think this is cool. And, technically I could have plugged this over here because what I'm doing is this Paleotrex tail, I have hugged it with the vertebrae feet. And I wonder if it looks better like that. You know what? That looks better. That looks better. It looks a little bit more cohesive. Yo, this is ill. I like that much more. And so we have the 2 hands hugging the Paleotrex tail. And at the end, we have the rack spear and then vertebrae hanging on for dear life on top of that. And yeah, I think that looks really neat. I might, interesting. I might do something more with this in the future, but I like this. I like this look a lot. Yeah, I like this look a lot. The other arm, this one is, I had to fiddle with this one a while. I mean, this build actually. So if you don't know, this is real talk, what I'm about to tell you. So I'm forgetting the exact terms, but there's different phases of ideas so before your ideas manifest from your brain into action, they actually go through a couple of checks. There's this first one, and my cousin's a neurologist, and also I watched something recently. It's like the first one is the creative part that gives genesis to the idea, and then there is like a check that your brain does to be like, okay, is it cool if I act on this idea? Will I be humiliated? Will I be rewarded? And it does all these checks, and that actually can stifle creativity a lot. But you know what? In the morning when you wake up after you sleep, that second part, that filter, whatever it is, it hasn't fully woken up. And so what I do is after I make builds in the evening, I reattend to them in the morning, actually, that, and it allows me to actually put a finer touch, make some like really like better tweaks and stuff. And so that's one of the things I did with this guy as well. He sat there overnight, I woke up and then I fixed a bunch of stuff, and I really like the final result. So this one over here for the shoulder, we have the dino skull for the rack. And over here is the Paleotrex, the paleo, blah, 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 blah. What is this? The calf. And then we have this huge, huge, huge sword, bow, whatever type thing. And that's made of one tail from a Skelevore calf, tail, Paleotail. Cool. And it can like spin around too, like, and that's pretty neat. So we'll move these to the side. So let's take a look at the torso. The torso, of course. So that is just one ractinide body. And there's this thing that I started doing is so you plug the small rack legs into those little, the little peg that protrudes from right there. Then you wrap around the small leg. Then you plug the big leg at the heel. And at the top, see how there's that little peg? You you rest that peg on top, and like, dude, it sits there really well. It sits there really well. And so even though it's not plugging into anything, I don't know, it works out quite well for me. And so I did that for both sides. Small rack leg, big rack leg plugged in, wrapped around, the two little pegs kind of resting there. And then on top, we have one Skelevor leg, and then we have one Paleotrex leg. I try to kind of keep the symmetry. And they become like the shoulder pauldrons. Very neat, right? And then the lower half. The lower half uses the Ractinite hip connector, and on the back, where you're supposed to plug in the stand, you can actually plug in Vertebrake's tail. If you notice, Vertebrake has a small, I know it's not 5mm, I don't know if it's 2mm or 3 or whatever the case may be, that can actually plug into the stand plug right there. And so I think that's really neat, and that becomes the Predacon combiner's tail. And each of the legs, they're symmetric. So I'll just go over them. So first, it is that axe bit, right? The axe bit from the Paleotrex, and then you hug it with the thighs. You hug it with the Paleotrex thighs, and then you have one of the calves up here to just kind of beef it up, so to speak. Otherwise, it would just look very, very spindly. Speaking of spindly, Spindle's supposed to be out pretty soon. Pretty excited about that. And so we have the two thighs hugging that blade thing, and then you extend that peg piece down. Then you open up the torso, the dino skull face wide, and then you plug it in like that. You see it? And then you have the head, the robot head over here, the skull, the lower jaw plugged in over here. And then to form kind of like the foundation to help it stand, you have another one of those claw feet things plugged into the side, and then the little buckler. And this will provide like stability and support. And you do that for both sides, and then you plug that in. And yeah, dude, it's a very, very good solid base. And so, hey, it looks like we're going to be able to plug this guy in after all. And so, yeah, you get that guy in there. Then you get this right here. And then you get this guy over here. And click, clack, bada bing, bada boomski. And the tail fell off. I feel like it's one of those lizards, you know what I'm talking about? Those lizards that shed their tails when they're like running from predators and stuff. That's what it felt like. It also felt like he kind of just dropped a deuce or something like that. But cool. And he's all blurry. I wonder how long it was blurry, but we'll see in post. But yeah. He's cool, right? I like him a lot. I was thinking of what should I call him? What should his name be? And I'm just gonna call him Freddy Krueger. Pretty cool, huh? And so, yeah, hope you like and hope you enjoy. And if you got these parts at home, whether it be Vertebrake or Dracodon or in 2 Paleos and a rack, you can pull this off and you can have a good time doing so. And so, yeah, so cool. I hope y'all are safe. I hope y'all are at peace, having fun. And yeah, and if you can afford to be so, please be kind to others and also to yourself as well. Right, gang? Okay, I'll talk to y'all very soon. Bye.